Okay, carrying on. This is the last video in the series now. Okay, on strict equality society. Um, okay, so carrying on about the economy. Okay, I've basically said how the economy works there. But there is one little more item, which is we may have a rationing system. This is a bit of a plan B if what I've just said doesn't quite work in some ways. But basically, the economy, as I've just described it, doesn't really have. We don't have these incentive systems. I mean, you're very free, aren't you, in the society in terms of what you do economically, your economic kind of choices, in terms of what you produce, basically, and what I've just said. So society may realize that some people are doing some tasks just aren't being done. Like an extreme example, not enough food is being made, really, for whatever reason. Nobody's taking it upon themselves to make food, or even like an example like the institutions I just talked about, the verifying cooperatives, and like nobody wants. What if nobody wants to be a verifier? The system could grind to a halt. So more extreme than rationing, we could have just a compulsory thing. Some people get a letter in the post. You've got to do your verifying duty or food making duty. But a kind of more subtle version of that would be a ration point system, I think. And in a ration point system, you get a kind of income of, say, 100 ration points a week until you hit, say, a maximum of 1,000, and then you don't get paid anymore then until you use some. Basically, if you do something good, like make food, or something that's been designated as a good by this is all done by law, by majority, the lawmaking thing I mentioned earlier on. Basically, something that's been designated a useful task, like making food, you get points, you get some ration points. So if you do something bad, like pollute or whatever, something that's bad but not criminally terrible, like pollution is a classic example. We can tolerate some of it, but not too much. Then you lose ration points. But you don't ever gain, obviously, under strict equality. You don't ever gain power or status or comfort through having more or less ration points. Just a question of, you run out of ration points, you can't do any more polluting until you get the ration points. So it's a bit complicated, because you go to a shop and you obviously have to have two things going on. You have the thing with I mentioned in the last video with a verifying card or whatever, but also there'll be a rationing element as well. So two cards or whatever. It's a bit complicated. It's a bit like this personal kind of carbon emissions plans. I forget what they call it exactly, but everybody's got it. It's basically like that. It's a real pain. It's a pain in the bum, but it's a way of doing. It's a way of doing this kind of thing. It's a way the majority kind of imposing what they want, even though each individual doesn't want to do it. So that's that. That's a plan B. Hopefully that won't be necessary. Okay, I'm coming close to the end of the items now. Okay, let me talk about fame. Fame's quite interesting under strict equality. Okay, so hopefully you've got that about the economy now. Right, fame. Yeah, basically, a famous person in our current society gets so much status that you can't really balance for it under strict equality. I mean, it's so much that you could never have a famous person and yet do some of these sort of tricks I was talking about in the video before last to bring them down to our level of status. I mean, you get so much respect for being in your face on TV or whatever. So I'm afraid this is a bit of an embarrassing thing, part of strict equality, but really, to take the system to its logical conclusion, you really can't have famous people. There's just gotta be a restriction. Like, if you're a novelist, you're only allowed to have like 1,000 readers or whatever. You can do a limited audience, basically. Otherwise you'd be forced to give up some of that audience or whatever, some of your power or state, or basic power and status. But the main ones affected here again. Obviously, dead people's books or films we can still watch, or even after Strict Equality is running. Once somebody dies, you can watch a whole archive of them can be released and for people's enjoyment. Because they don't have to be equal now they're dead. Also, another way around this having fame is but having art and having sort of non-fiction writing is things like Wikipedia, huge collective efforts where each person's anonymous. You also have cartoons like where you don't have an actor's face, so you could have cartoons as long as they're written by a whole team of people and you change the voice artists. We can still have these but in the future particularly we can have these computer graphics kind of films with 3D people that look more and more as time goes on like real people, but they're not actually real people. That's it. I mean, basically art, and you can have like things like Wikipedia, and art and writing will be, I think there will be still quality stuff, maybe even better stuff in some ways, because there'll be no friction, no ego, or less ego involved. You'd have to be inclusive in having lots of writers and democratic and all the rest of it. But it would be a huge change, and I'm not claiming that art would be better. Really. Strict equality isn't a system for making art better. Basically a huge bomb would hit the art world really with this. Okay, very last point then is crime and punishment in particular. Now, under strict equality, if we take it to its logical conclusion, you wouldn't be able to really punish a criminal. So I believe in having laws, and as I say, I'm a statist, and you have to have laws and you have to have some way of stopping people committing crimes. I don't have a problem with forcing people to stop murdering other people or even doing much lesser crimes. I mean, I believe in the use of force or whatever, but you can't really take away their power, and you can't take away their status, and you can't even take away their comfort. So how the hell do you put someone in jail or whatever if you can't take away those things? There are two ways we could go. I think we could just say these people lose their citizenship in that sense while they're being punished, and you can then punish them. I mean, that's one option that may have to be resorted to. But I'm hopeful that we might be able to have this radical thing where they do keep their citizenship, they keep their power and their status and their comfort, but we just simply restrain them and try to rehabilitate them. And also hopefully there'll be less crime, because a lot of crime is inspired by poverty at the moment, I believe. Or at least I think it's a fact that most crimes are committed by extremely poor people. So basically you have jails, but obviously the right-wing press won't like this idea, but they'll be super comfortable, even more comfortable than normal houses, to make up for the lack of comfort of not being able to go out, not very far anyway. And yeah, rehabilitation, try to make it so that you give them positive things to do and so on. So anyway, I'm not saying, I mean, that could go pear-shaped, so I'm not, I don't know, I can't give you any evidence that it would work. Not really punishing them, but just restraining and whatever with them. But I'm hopeful that would be just a really super civilized alternative that would just lead to a better society in that area. Okay then, so that brings us to the end of the Strict Equality Society series. There won't be, as far as I'm aware, I don't think I'm going to be doing another series on strict equality, because this really does cover everything, all the areas, everything I know about strict equality, basically everything I've invented. ranted about it. So there isn't a whole lot of other stuff right now. So anyway, I hope you've agreed with every word I've said in this series, and if you didn't, anyway, I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll be making videos on other subjects very soon. Oh yeah, and really feel free to join the fun and make videos about this and disagree with me and whatever. You're strongly invited to do that. Thank you very much.